up, guys? Welcome to Strength to Foundation, and today we're going to go through the deadlift stance box squat. Here we go. So here is the deadlift stance box squat. So as the name suggests, it's a box squat with a conventional deadlift foot stance. Okay, so your feet are closer together. Very, very similar to a high bar squat. Now, the reason why I say that is that I would program this if that lifter has recently transitioned to a low bar squat position. Now, the low bar squat is quite hard to attain. It takes quite a bit of skill to learn that, to develop that. The last thing I want to do is, if I have a novice lifter that I've just had to perform the low bar squat, and then I'll throw into their program, all right, let's do some high bar squats. It can undo all the good work that, as a coach, that you've put into that lifter. We still want to maintain the integrity of the mechanics of the low bar squat. So if I just run this video back just a little bit here. So let's have a look at the foot position. You can see my feet are close together, i.e. it's in a deadlift stance position for a conventional deadlift. So let's play this little guy here. Right, here we go. So there's the box. That box is helping me to find, my direction, because one of the best ways to help your mechanics on a squat is to use the box, because you've got somewhere to aim for. And I've said this before when I coach, that you don't have eyes at the back of your head. Let me just pause that a second. You don't have eyes at the back of your head, so therefore, finding the box with your backside will help your direction, will help your mechanics. So using the box as a prop is a really good idea to help you to keep your position, to keep your mechanics, to keep your groove, to help you keep that groove in. I'm going to go back to this side view a second and just show you something else here. Pause right there. Now, because I've got my feet closer together, and because I have a low bar position, because I obviously have a low bar position, and therefore I have to use a little bit more hips to keep the bar over mid-foot, I'm going to have difficulty hitting depth. Now, I don't need to hit depth because that's not what I'm trying to achieve here. I'm trying to achieve volume. So at the moment it's parallel. Okay, so that for this particular exercise, this is good enough, because what I'm trying to do is achieve multiple reps while maintaining the integrity of my mechanics. But you would find it quite difficult to hit depth with a deadlift stance position and a low bar, because of the torso angle, and the mechanics are going to be different. What will happen if I was to try and lower this box to hit depth, to hit crease below knee, which is the powerlifting standard in the IPF, I would probably lose tightness around the hips and lower back, which is what I don't want to do. And that's actually going to undo the whole point of the low bar squat. So we don't want to do that. So the idea of this exercise is to maintain the mechanics, maintain your positions and integrity of your movement while gaining volume. So depth in this case isn't actually a priority. So don't worry too much about that. As long as you can get somewhere close to parallel, that's actually good enough, because it'll be very difficult, as I said, to get depth with your feet this close together. What I want to show you is a true high bar squat, just to show you what the difference is and the reason why I wouldn't switch a novice lifter or include a high bar squat in a novice lifter's program if I've just taught them the mechanics of the low bar squat. So let's have a look at this. So obviously the bar is held higher on the traps. So to keep that bar over mid-foot, you'll see I have to keep a more upright torso, and the knees will come forward a lot more than they would for the low bar squat, because of the low bar squat you're actually using a lot more hips. So if you have a look at that and see how the mechanics are performed, let me just pause it right back here. And just for one more rep. Let's get back into depth. Down, 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 down. Stop right there. Okay, to achieve depth, let's have a look and see if I've got any closer. I've got as deep as I can, actually. Right there. Yeah, my hamstrings are touching my calves right there. So I'm actually achieving as much depth as I can for my particular mobility, while maintaining tightness around the lower back and hips here. So you can see, to achieve depth here, with this particular stance, this foot stance here, the knees have to come forward a lot more, and the torso has to remain upright. So that's not achievable with the deadlift stance box squat with a low bar position. So to fit this into your current training plan, what I would do is the rep range can be relatively high for powerlifting standards. So I would do the first 3 weeks at 8 reps, increasing the sets every week, and then the second 3 weeks you can go down to 6 reps. So 6 and 8 you can program for this movement. I would do it on the same day that you would do your main deadlift, but obviously keep it away from your main squat. So if your main deadlift is on the Monday, I would do this deadlift stance box squat as your volume squat on that deadlift day, and then do your main squat day, your main strength day for your squat. Do that, say, 2 days later. So Monday deadlift and deadlift stance box squats, and then maybe Thursday you do your main squat with your accessory deadlift. Hey guys, thank you very much for watching. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe.